What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Pens and Tea. My name's Carrie, and today we're going to talk about discontinued ink. I was watching the Brian Goulet, oh my gosh, what is it called? Brain fart. The Q&A. The Goulet Pens Q&A that he does every week. He spends so much time doing this, so kudos to him. But I was watching it, and he was talking about what inks could he bring back if he had the ability to do that. And I thought that was such a unique question. A viewer submitted it to him. He thought it was dope. He answered it. I thought it was dope. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to answer it too. So I'm going to start off with one that actually was on his list as well. And that is Lamy Dark Lilac. I regret so much. I regret so much not buying a bottle of Lamy Dark Lilac. Instead, I opted for the cartridges because that was in my, like, I guess I'm not buying any more ink phase, which, to be honest, I perpetually live in, but sometimes I listen, sometimes I don't. And I literally only have 2 cartridges left. Can't super duper see through here. I heavily debated about putting swatches up for you guys to see them, but I'm worried that because I don't have any swatches that I did personally, I'm worried that if I just picked a random one from Google, they're not stock images. They do belong to somebody. So for copyright purposes, there's going to be no swatches. So I apologize for that. Literally do a quick Google of these because they will come up instantly for you for anything that I list here. So sorry that you're gonna have to do a little bit of work, but I don't want this video to be, you know, struck down. So Lamy Dark Lilac. This is such a deep, rich purple with a gold sheen to it. It's just, it was beautiful. Like I said, I have 2 cartridges left. I don't own any Lamy pens anymore with the exception of the 2000s, which is obviously a piston. So one day I'm sure I will bust open these 2 and just fill up one pen with the ink from the cartridges, but that's gonna have to be reserved for something special because I wish this would come back. I wish that would come back so much. And I'm surprised it didn't because that pen and ink went just gangbusters. Everyone lost their nerds over this thing, so I'm surprised that it hasn't come back. And maybe Lamy's waiting maybe a couple years until people like myself get super desperate so that when they bring it out, we'll buy a million things. So who knows? The next one on my list is Montblanc Red Chalk. I should have bought this so bad. Oh my God. I had the option once and I turned it down, people. I turned it down. Okay, so I had the opportunity to try out somebody's fountain pen. They had it in a Visconti Homo Sapiens, and they had red chalk loaded up in it, and I got to use it. And I don't have the notebook anymore that had what I wrote in it, but I got to use it, and it was so freaking good. Oh my goodness. It's literally like red chalk. It looks like, you know, any one of those like cheesy movies about Mars, like the color of the dust. It kind of looks like that. You know, if you go to, the only thing that really popped into my head is like the sort of like clay dust almost. Or if you're in Hawaii, when you're walking on like craters and stuff, like, it's so beautiful. One that I actually did manage to get my hands on, otherwise would have been on this list, was actually Montblanc William Shakespeare Velvet Red. This one I was actually able to pick up 2 years ago at Scriptus, the Toronto Pen Show. I was able to pick up a brand new bottle. Oh, there you go. It's actually got a sticker on the bottom. It's not one that I use all the time because reds are not my like primary go-to, and red chalk leans a little bit more on the brown side, but it's a beautiful, beautiful ink, and I'm quite happy that I was able to pick that up. Red chalk is something that if you're able to find it, like a bottle, because I believe it's the same size bottle, like 35 milliliters or something like that. Yeah, 35. If you're able to find a bottle, I guarantee you it's going to be charging like $200 or plus. Like anyone that has a brand new bottle to sell is going to be selling this thing for mint because it is so rare. The next two I'm going to talk to together because they're by the same company that are also super, super rare. And if they're online to be purchased, they're going to be ridiculously priced. And that is Caran d'Ache Saffron, which is sort of like a reddish, orangish, yellowish hybrid. If you actually know what saffron is, the actual spice, it's pretty close to that color. And Caribbean Sea, which is such a lovely teal, greeny blue. Well, I guess that's what teal is. It's a green blue. Duh. Ink. And they performed so well. Again, I don't own either of these inks clearly. That's why I would like to bring them back. And I'm sure everybody would want to bring them back. But yeah, it's just absurd. Like, the two colors are beautiful. The bottles were super cute. They're like little squares. They kind of remind me of like the J.Herbin ones. Actually, they're similar in shape to something like this, but they're a little bit smaller because this, I believe, is 50 mils. I don't quite remember. I believe this is 50 mils and the Caran d'Ache ones were 35, but they're sort of like this similar shape that had like their logo and like what the name of the ink was. It was a little bit more narrow, but they're so pretty, guys, especially Caribbean Sea. I'm a sucker for like the saffron one because like that color, that depth, that warmth is what I'm generally drawn to in an ink. There's a reason why James Purdy and Son single malt whiskey, the Mont Blanc ink, is like pretty much my favorite ink ever, and it has been since that ink came out. But yeah, those two colors are just beautiful. And then the last one that he mentioned, and by he I mean Brian Goulet mentioned, was Parker Penman Sapphire. Now, this one I didn't list officially in my like I want to bring back, because what I didn't know about this pen was that it has it's like a solvent based ink, which is really difficult to clean out. And I didn't know that, but what I thought was interesting, and I encourage you to go check out the Q&A. He has the ink, bring back the ink in his title, so you should be able to find it pretty quickly. But what I didn't know is that, yeah, it was like a solvent based ink that was really difficult to clean out, which is why they don't really make it anymore. But what I thought was cool was that it was the first ink to sort of really have a splash of sheen in it. So it had some red highlights. And that wasn't a thing back then when this ink was being actually produced. And apparently it wasn't really that big of an ink. It wasn't that like something that people really, really wanted when that ink was being produced. It wasn't until after it stopped being produced that it gained a cult following, which I thought was kind of interesting. And I suppose that's how, general artists and things like that work, is that, your work is more valued after you're dead. In this case, it's not produced anymore, so people want it now. But I thought that was really interesting. So if it were to be brought back, I'd be interested in trying it out. I've seen people selling it before, both in person and online, but it doesn't interest me enough to pay anywhere between like, $80 to $200 for a bottle, because I think that that's kind of absurd, especially for an ink that's apparently quite difficult to clean out. And we have a lot of similarities. But I'm curious, as we're coming up on the 10-minute mark, if you guys could bring back any ink that's discontinued currently. You don't necessarily have to have tried it, but let me know what it would be like. I'd be interested to see what everyone's take of discontinued inks would be. But guys, thank you for watching. Thanks for hearing my opinion. If you liked the video, hit that like button. If you really liked it but haven't yet done so already, hit that subscribe button. New videos come out every Monday and Friday, and the occasional Q&A on Tuesdays and Thursdays. As always, appreciate you watching, for hanging out with me, and I'll see you next time. Bye.